to a brand new episode of the KickOut. It's 2022. I go by the name of Skinner.
My name is Mex.
And we are here live. Well, not live, because anyone hearing this will be pre-recorded. But we are here after the aftermath of New Year's and Christmas. And we are here to talk about WWE Day 1 and Wrestle Kingdom. And we've got two great guests with us live on the show. Well, Mex, would you mind actually doing the favors for me, please, and do the introduction, please?
Of course, we have Supine Smokey, someone we've needed to talk to for a long time. Very knowledgeable, underrated knowledge. This is underrated knowledge. And of course, we have the man of the hour from Wrestling's podcast, NK, joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. That's my first time in KickOut. Jesus, I'm excited.
Yeah, man. This is big. This is big for me still.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. You guys are proper knowledgeable in your fields, and we're gonna speak about WWE.
Wait, I don't know if it's me. Are you guys okay with?
Your internet's cutting out.
I thought it was mine, you know. I thought
yeah, same. I thought, yeah.
I think it's still it. Wait for him to drop back.
This is the side of podcast that people don't see.
No, I'm gonna have to do cut and paste in the background to fix it.
Yeah.
I do apologize. I don't know. Was it just my connection that was bugging out? Because it was. You guys were all good. Damn it.
Yeah.
Was I talking over you, Mex, when you were chatting?
No, it's fine. I've introduced them, so you can just
All right.
Yeah, once Smokey's ready, you can just jump in from there.
Supine Smokey, NK, welcome to the KickOut podcast. Thank you so much for your time today. Before we talk about, the week's events and what's going on in wrestling today, we want to, for those who don't know much about you, we'll start with Supine Smokey. Please give us your introduction to wrestling, how much of a wrestling fan you are, and what you're enjoying about wrestling today.
Oh, wow. I would say, I think my earliest vivid memory is probably WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus Warrior. I think that's the most vivid memory, earliest memory I think I have of wrestling, unless Hakushi versus X-Pac at SummerSlam came before that. If that came before that, then it was probably that Hakushi.
No, it definitely didn't. So
it didn't. Okay, yeah. Then I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. So that was definitely my earliest memory of wrestling. That whole aspect of them two being two superheroes. It's like either the irresistible force, immovable object, and the two come together, and you say who's stronger, who's not.
So, Supine, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Me, I'm 30. I'm 31. I'm going to turn 32.
Okay. Cool. And so that was that your earliest memory? Did you watch that at the time it took place, or later on? Were you a wrestling fan?
No. I think what it was is, even as a community, my church community, they watched wrestling. So anytime we'd be at some people's houses, wrestling would just be on as a kid. So there's probably bits and pieces of 1994 that I watched, but I just can't sort of piece together what was on that day, because there was definitely days when I was at somebody's house and I'd see IRS on the TV or Ted DiBiase on the TV, and we're just mucking about in the living room or whatnot. So I was definitely watching as a 4-year-old, but from the sort of 5 and 6 are the ones that I can sort of vividly remember as I sat down and I watched these people have matches and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
And who are you feeling? Okay, we asked everybody this in the show. We asked Mount Rushmore questions. NK, we'll get to you in a minute, NK. But Supine Smokey, who is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
My Mount Rushmore, I'd probably have The Rock. I have what would I have on it? The Rock. I'd probably have Austin on it. I'd probably have. In terms of, do I think about who are my favorite of all time, or in terms of the most influential wrestlers? When we say
it's your personal favorite. It doesn't matter about wrestling ability, whatever.
Okay, then I have to have The Rock. I'll probably have Stone Cold. I'd probably have Cena, and I'll probably put Roman Reigns on there. Yeah.
Oh wow, Roman Reigns makes it already. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of favorites, actually, let me scratch that. Let me not lie. It's Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley. It's probably Bobby Lashley at the moment, just for the year and a half he's had, and even just in general from 05, because remember just seeing him on screen for the first time in 05. So I'll probably put Bobby Lashley just for his whole career and what he's been doing the last sort of 18 to sort of 21 months now. So yeah.
So you were a Lashley fan from early doors.
Yes. Definitely, I especially enjoyed his Booker T feud. A lot of people we don't talk about that feud enough. That match at Judgment Day for the King of the Ring match, that was the moment. And then that match that they had on SmackDown the day after Booker won the title from Ray, when he randomly Teddy Long just randomly Booker T was celebrating, and the next thing Lashley's in the ring with him, and they had a banging match for the world title on SmackDown. And obviously the cage match for the US title.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I totally forgot about that. Like all that. Like, I remember as you said it.
You remembered it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
because I remember he would always talk about how a lot of people don't remember. Those matches, along with the ones with Finlay, those are very, very instrumental in terms of helping him develop.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that's maybe missing in nowadays ago, having a lot of guys who were wrestling 20 years ago or years ago who are currently active still on the roster. Most of them, man, you don't really have that many as much before. So when we get a situation with Omos and AJ, it's good. Because
I think and with Lashley, it's important to remember that people forget that he was tipped to be something really, really special. But Vince, they wanted to work with him a bit more before he went to the main roster. But Vince ended up Vince saw him and was like, "Nah, pull him up straight away." And they were like, "No,
6 months." See, but he only had 6 months of training. If not for his amateur background, he might have flopped. But but he had only having that only those 6 months of training. But he seemed to just sort of like a fish to water, seemed to take to wrestling really well.
Well, thank you for joining us today, man. I'm gonna go past to NK. And I guess we'll start off with before we talk about the Mount Rush wrestling. NK, please let people know about what you do, your podcast, your platform. You're part of the Rest Things family.
Yeah.
And when was your earliest memory of wrestling? When's your earliest memory?
So I'll get my plugs out of the way. If you want to see me talk about wrestling, follow the man about wrestling. I'm the New Japan correspondent, TDM, Tokyo Dome Merchants, Japanese wrestling is my thing, you know what I'm saying? And if you want to just see me talk about general topics, follow me on Rare Podcast. But in terms of my first urgent of wrestling, Starrcade Hulk Hogan versus Sting. I don't know why it's the earliest match I remember. I don't know what uncle had it, but I remember going to our uncle's house and they were just playing. And I saw this Sting guy, and he creeped me out. I was young, I was very young. Sting creeped me out. But I just saw Hulk Hogan versus Sting, and that's the first image I remember. I just remember Sting's entrance at Starrcade. I was like, wow. But in terms of the first program I ever saw, I don't know why John Cena and the Big Show sticks out to me because I remember as a kid, the whole thugonomics gimmicks. Yeah,
program.
The whole John Cena Big Show. I was a huge John Cena fan of it. Still up to this day, even though during the Super Cena stuff I hated him, but now I like him again. But John Cena was definitely my guy. And in terms of my Mount Rushmore, it's AJ, Omega, Shawn Michaels, and Okada. Yeah.
What I love about you guys at Wrestlings as well. What I love about you guys is you guys are avid TNA fans. That's a lot of people when you say stuff like AJ and people say, and don't get me wrong, AJ there's no doubt he should be in anyone's Mount Rushmore. He's one of the greatest of all time. But I don't think people understand how much AJ means to you guys. I think they see it as, oh, AJ, oh, you mean you've only liked him since 2016 and maybe a little bit of the New Japan stuff. No. You guys have been watching AJ since X Division days and 2003 and 2004 when man had the slick hair down. The earring and shit. You know what I mean?
For me, the reason why AJ is my greatest of all time, my favorite wrestler of all time. And the reason why AJ is that for me because he exposed me to a style of wrestling I hadn't seen before. going from, growing up, everyone watched WWE, this particular style, and then going from that, and then not even just the X division, but going to see his other stuff in ROH, stuff he had with Paul London, the stuff we had with Bear Different Man in ROH, and it's like, wow, these guys are doing, like, not only is this guy flipping, but he's flipping and it's hard hitting, and then you see the stuff with the X division matches where AJ is just doing crazy, and it's like AJ's exposed me. AJ and X division exposed me to the style of wrestling I hadn't seen before, and then from AJ to do that, to go to New Japan, which is a completely different style, and he's somebody who doesn't speak Japanese, he's a foreigner, and to do what he did with Bullet Club, and he no disrespect to Prince Devitt, but he's like the first person to like make Bullet Club like truly like the global phenomenon that we know it is to be. Like that started with AJ, then obviously Omega took the reins from that, but Bullet Club under AJ's reign was incredible.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best reign. It's the best.
It was incredible, and that Bullet Club AJ is a different character to the phenomenal AJ Styles. We saw glimpses of that towards his later run in TNA, but like that heel persona from AJ, we never knew AJ could tap into that heel persona like that until we saw Bullet Club AJ. It was like, raw, like this AJ guy can evolve, and then like for me, WWE is like the cherry on the ice on top of the cake. Like, cool. If you just look at ROH, TNA, New Japan, that for me already cemented him as my goal. But when he went to WWE, and for a guy like AJ, you know how Vince is. For a guy like AJ to come in and prove Vince wrong, because Vince wasn't a fan of AJ in the beginning. No, for AJ to come in and prove Vince wrong was just a cherry on the ice. Like, this guy is literally the person where we have these fantasy debates of, could he survive in this company? Because we don't have to have that conversation with AJ. He's done it. He survived in every company.
He was going through that all of his life before he went to WWE. Everyone was like, he'll never make it in WWE. Everybody wrote him up. You know what I mean? Even like, because when I think Triple H was forming NXT in 2014-15, AJ was on the short list. And even then, like, internet was pissed that all the Ring of Honor fans and the New Japan fans were fuming that Triple H would even think of bringing him to NXT and not straight to the main roster. So when they finally signed him, they were like, we can't make that mistake. Let's put him on the main roster. And then he proved it. He proved everybody right. Like, he's a star. You know. Yeah. And there's something special about that class. Like, as much as I grew up watching Ring of Honor, and I loved Ring of Honor, and I loved TNA, I didn't really appreciate how great those wrestlers were. Does that make any sense? I was a fan of the product, and I was a fan of Daniel Bryan. I was a fan of but I always, because I grew up watching Japanese wrestling, I always felt, these guys are good, but it is taking Japan wrestling basically and making it American. I always felt that. But I think as a grown-ass man now, I could see how special, and because I guess the longevity of what they've done and how they changed American wrestling as well, because American wrestling has changed because of it.
Exactly.
So I think now I can really see how special that class of wrestlers was. The AJs, the, like you said, Paul Londons, the Brian Kendricks, Spanky, the Homicides, the Cesaros, the Daniel Bryan, of course, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries. Big up to Austin Aries. He was one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's
one of my favorites. I mean, unfortunately, he doesn't really wrestle as much.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, if you look at like critique of like wrestling at that time, everyone will say, like, the older heads were saying, like, this style of wrestling isn't sustainable. These guys are going to burn out in 5 years, in 10 years. These guys are going to... And look at them now. Like, they're still...
They're the ones that are still going.
Definitely, that's what's...
And still going, and in top pace, top speed, still going in 100%.
They're in better condition than guys were in the 90s. I'm saying, like...
They weren't living hard because they lived clean. They were living clean. Living clean was the key. Obviously, like, AJ did make it... But AJ did make changes at 35, though. He did tone it down at 35. He got to 35 before. And I want to make money. I want to be in this game for as long as possible and make as much P as possible. But he could still bust a 450, and that's still a big thing. Yeah, he's still doing things out here for sure.
Okay, cool, wicked. All right, so we've got a really we've got a lot to talk about today. Actually, I guess we'll talk about the big news that came out just before WWE Day 1 pay-per-view, that Roman Reigns, who was supposed to be in the main event against Brock Lesnar, that match was going to get postponed because Roman Reigns caught COVID. Is that right, Max? Did he catch COVID? Is that what?
Yeah, he's got COVID-19. I personally think he's had it for a while. Maybe I think this is the back end of him isolating. I think he'll probably be on SmackDown on Friday. But yeah, he's probably in his isolation period. So yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. And so what they did was the big news going into this pay-per-view, which made me really tune in, because I don't think I was I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I don't think I was gonna watch this. But when I heard that Brock Lesnar was getting injected to the Fatal 4-Way and it's now become a Fatal 5-Way, I was like, yeah, I'm watching this. And I was throughout the whole pay-per-view, I was actually really looking forward to the main event. But let's talk about the pay-per-view, Mex. It wasn't a bad pay-per-view, was it?
It wasn't. I don't feel like much changed, especially in the undercard side of things. We got another phenomenal New Day and Usos match. Like, these men are just putting these matches together. Even when you think you've seen everything that these lot can do, there's still something else. And yeah, that was really, really good. The RK Bro match, defending against Street Profits, that's where we got the celebrity appearance of the Migos came out and stuff like that. Offset was living his best life in the wrestling ring.
I'm so glad you said that, Mex, because there was this little bit of stupid internet backlash, and they don't understand. Like, they were saying that why is Migos coming out with Orton and Riddle? But Orton is a legend.
Like, Orton is a goat. Orton is a goat.
Migos, they love Orton. Like,
yeah,
I still understand why people are getting upset about it.
Yeah, but it was all good in the end. Obviously, they all hugged, they all embraced, blah blah blah. RK Bro retained, but yeah, I think the big thing coming out of that match, or what, like you said, what you tuned in for, was the fact Brock Lesnar never got his Roman Reigns match. He still wanted a title, wanted to leave with a title. He got inserted into the Fatal 4-Way, making it a Fatal 5-Way. I said this earlier today. The positioning of Big E throughout this whole programming was just, as a champion, it was terrible, because they literally had a graphic which moved Big E to the side and put Brock Lesnar front and center of the graphic. Brock Lesnar covering the WWE Championship. You know, if there's any way to feel like a second tier champion, that's it. And that's to a man that's not even got the title yet. And then, yeah, we in the match itself, I think, was just phenomenal. I think in the last few years, WWE have become very good at this kind of smash style wrestling. Like, this ain't gonna last long. We're gonna give you 10 minutes of fast paced chaos. Like, and
when they mastered that style, it was like the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. Joe,
with Reigns and all them,
and Braun.
Yeah, that's when they mastered it. That match was amazing.
So we had that. To be honest, all men looked really good in that match, even Big E, which was eventually pinned. Questionable why he was the one to be pinned. But yeah, Brock Lesnar walked out as champion. You know, a lot has been said about Big E's title reign. It hasn't been the best, hasn't been the most kind of must-see TV, if you like. But the minute you put Brock Lesnar in a match, I just feel like, especially a match like this sort of thing, it caused a lot of intrigue. You know, we wish Roman well in that, but like, this was probably the most exciting creative stuff that came from Roman's illness. And yeah, obviously now we got Brock versus Lashley, who we'll get on to talk about in a bit.
I'll ask Smokey. Smokey, were you happy with the booking of Lashley in the Fatal 5-Way? You know, he was the only one, I believe, that didn't really get a suplex, didn't get a F5. They really kind of protected Lashley, I felt, more so than
absolutely. But you know what? I think it was definitely preempted. I think it's preempted in a sense, because, you know, when they were doing those little graphics of Rash, I think it was the last pay-per-view, I think the one in November, Survivor Series, you know, they did the whole little mini video vignette for Lashley, showing his amateur background and all of this stuff. So they probably had this match in mind. Maybe not for.
They done it on this show as well.
Yeah,
they done it on new what's it called? Day One. Say new.
Day One. Okay,
Day One as well. Yeah.
So they probably had the match, the what happened, a Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar encounter in mind at some point. Maybe just not now. So they definitely had it in mind, because there was a definite preemptive thought to make sure, after coming off Crown Jewel, after he had lost to Goldberg, to make sure that Lashley looked as strong as possible. Especially, they put him in a gauntlet. He ran the gauntlet. Then he had this match now. So I'm definitely happy about it. Yeah, they've kept him strong.
And NK, one thing I really noticed, he was really over. Like Lashley, he got cheered up. I think he got the biggest reaction of everyone in that match. Am I right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of, yeah.
Definitely one of.
I'll preface. I didn't watch day one. I just saw highlights. So I
mean, if you know what it is, I think it started with the tag team match in Milwaukee. If you notice in Milwaukee when he had the tag team match with Big E, it started there.
Yeah,
where the seeds started in Milwaukee. That tag team match.
It seems that it's working. Vince is working.
For some reason. I don't know how they did it or why they did it, but it worked.
They obviously Lashley dropped the title to Big E. I think in between he had his program with Goldberg, and then maybe a bit quiet for a few weeks. And the minute by fire or by force, they just kind of forced him into this fatal four-way. Again, momentum has been with him. I mean, we're living in an era where we want believability in our wrestling.
Yes,
and you look at Lashley, and that is a believable guy. And I think it makes sense why, you know, they're giving him almost this second run in the main event scene, if you like.
All right, so we're gonna talk about loads of stuff in day one, but let's start off with there was an injury, right, in the tag match. It was Ricochet and Cesaro. Who was it against?
It was Rich Holland that got it. Yeah.
Who was Rich Holland's partner? Was it Sheamus?
Sheamus.
All right. Okay. Max, please talk to us about this botch. It did look painful. I'm not gonna lie.
So I've seen the move. Smokey, maybe you can. It was a moonsault and the knee landed on Rich.
It was an assisted 450, and this botch happens
from Cesaro. That's it.
Yeah. This thing happens quite frequently. You know, Flamita and Bandido, they do this move a lot. And it happens a lot where Bandido lands with the knee. So that's what happened. But it was weird, the position, Ricochet's positioning, because he stood further up in the upper body towards the face, which was what I found kind of interesting, and why he wasn't more central to more his midsection, which is why that's a little bit odd.
And Ricochet is so athletic, you don't even.
Yeah, he's got good control of his body, but that's gonna happen with that move.
Yeah,
maybe it's the strength of Cesaro. Maybe it was the strength of Cesaro. Too much momentum.
What I was just gonna say, Max, because Cesaro was a strong mofo, so he probably just unfortunately didn't mean to, but unbalanced him with the strength. You know what I mean? And ended up landing in his face. Well, we hope Rich Holland's okay. He's a promising talent. I did see some of his work at NXT before he got called up. He's probably. I see a lot of people on Twitter say he's gonna wear the Sheamus.
Yeah, I was saying it too. Yeah, he probably will. Yeah.
We should probably do that still.
He played rugby, so he's a tough guy for sure.
And the first match was the New Day Usos. Max already kind of mentioned that. Great match between two of those. Are we still going to see Naomi? Is Naomi ever going to be part of the bloodline? I don't know what's going on.
You know what? Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it felt like I think someone mentioned something on Twitter, but I kind of think like it's good that she hasn't, that she's had this storyline on her own. I mean, it would be cool to add her to the bloodline and to bring a female sort of aspect to the bloodline, but it's kind of good that she's had this storyline on her own by herself, and she's figuring it out by herself, that she hasn't had to get help from somebody else to fight her battles. She's fighting the battle herself, as opposed to the...
Go ahead, Max.
I think they need to end it though now. The thing with Sonya Deville's been going on for far too long, and day one would have been a good place to end it. Because if Naomi enters the Royal Rumble and is doing all of her regular stunts around the ring, the Kofi-esque kind of spots, and then you just see like Sonya Deville just stop her from getting back in the ring or something like that, it's like we're still going at this, and you know we need a payoff. We need a payoff. It's been going on for months.
I agree. I totally agree with Max, and I just feel, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reverting to my 1999, 898 booking of like when people would just like turn heel and join action, and I just like to see Naomi join the bloodline. I just think
it would be fun. There's no doubt about it. That would be fun to sort of add a woman's perspective to the bloodline. Add that and sort of turn it into something else, and then you could sort of bring more women into the sort of storyline. You could bring more women on TV into the storyline and give it a new dynamic for sure. No, there's definitely some sense to that. But I'm just enjoying that she's handling the business herself, in a sense.
Okay, fair enough. No, I like that too. Max, you already mentioned the tag match between Street Profits and RK Bro. Are we going to see Orton Riddle WrestleMania? Is this what's going to build up to? Is Riddle? Check this out, guys. is Riddle going to be the reason Orton doesn't win the Royal Rumble? And then Orton takes that to heart, but doesn't show it until WrestleMania time.
I'm not completely sure that Orton is going to be the heel. As in, he's going to be the negative. I think right now the momentum this guy is riding in terms of the fans, how hard the fans are behind him. They may be turning Riddle before they turn.
Well,
Orton.
Max, I want to give you some credit because if this does come true, you did call this back in October when they first started off this feud, and I was so convinced that Orton's going to turn again, and you're like, no, I think it'll be Riddle, and I said, oh, I like that. So if they do it, I'm gonna big you up and say that you said it first. So we'll see. We'll run down wrestling quickly. Obviously, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, she's a good athlete. She's a good try. I'm just not invested in her work. I'm gonna be real.
Likewise.
And this match was.
I think she's coming along, but maybe there's still ways to go. She's not far off. A little bit more.
She did a very impressive sunset flip.
Jerry Lynn. So she pulled a Jerry Lynn.
100%. Very Jerry Lynnish. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was speaking of. So that was nice. But yeah, she's got moves. I just, as a character, I'm just not there.
Yeah,
I understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
McIntyre and Moss was Madcap Moss also on this card. I didn't need to be on this card at all.
It just took too long for me. I liked the match, but it dragged on a little longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, McIntyre should be squashing my man.
100%. That shouldn't even be. He shouldn't be a worthy opponent. Oh.
Yeah, but apparently McIntyre's got an actual injury, which they've hidden with a backstage attack by Corbin and Madcap Moss, so he might be off TV.
I just hope it's not serious, man.
Yeah, exactly. Edge and The Miz. Did you not know this was the longest match on the card?
Really? It didn't feel like it.
20 minutes. It was the longest match on the card.
It didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it,
bro. It was long to me, bro.
It felt long to
Edge and The Miz wait 20 minutes.
Anything with Miz that's longer than 8 minutes in the ring is long, bro. It's long.
Edge and Miz was 20 minutes. Uzo's New Day was 17 minutes, I think it was.
Right.
I haven't watched day one, but I've noticed Edge has been putting a lot of long matches recently. I feel like Edge has something to prove because he's been doing a lot ever since he's come back. Because I don't know, maybe he's heard the whole gimmick merchant criticism, and he's like, you know what, I just want to put on long matches because he had the greatest match ever with Orton. Then he had the matches with Seth. He's been putting on a lot of lengthy matches. The matches with Roman, putting on a lot of lengthy stuff.
And you have to remember this man. He was on a podcast too, innit? He had a podcast with Christian, and he was talking big, sort of grease in his own way, innit? So he wanted to show that he's not just somebody who's just behind the scenes chatting. That he can come back and show you what he was on about. Yeah, I was on this. This is what I was talking about. This is what I meant when I said this and that and that. And so he's trying to show that he's not just a critic for the sake of it, being that he was a wrestler himself. So yeah.
And was there any other matches after this? I think it was just the main event after this, wasn't it?
You mentioned already the Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan.
Yeah, that's it.
It was the fatal 5-way.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go around. I know NK didn't see it, so we'll start with you, Smokey. Out of 5, what would you give WWE Day 1?
I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
Max?
I think I'll give it a 3. It was a good start to the year. It was all about the main event. New Day and my head's gone blank. Usos was a very good match, but there was a lot of filler within matches. So yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 3 as well. And I'm also gonna ask, is everybody happy with Brock Lesnar being the new WWE champion? We'll start with NK.
Yes, because it creates. Okay, I feel like the WWE Championship has been the secondary belt for ever since Roman came back, and it's finally now the WWE Universal title look on par with each other, and it makes WrestleMania season a lot more interesting because I think by this we're all expecting Roman and Brock for the Universal, and then whoever's going to fight Biggie for the WWE. But now there's a lot more intrigue, at least for me, going into Royal Rumble season and WrestleMania. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I can't really speak on Big E's run because I haven't seen it too tough. But yeah, Pete, I've seen lukewarm reactions to his run as a whole. But Lesnar winning is not a problem. It just begs the question of where are the new stars? Because same guys all over again.
Smokey?
No, I'm not actually disappointed. I am happy he did. It's just the way the way the cookie crumbled for Big E was kind of rough. Brock was due a win. I think to the best of my knowledge, he's lost three of his last 4 pay-per-view matches. He put over Roman at SummerSlam in 18. He put over Rollins at WrestleMania. He put over Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania as well. So he was due a big win, whether it was day one or Mania. He was going to win a title. It just happened that the cookie crumbled on this particular day one, on this pay-per-view. And I do feel bad for Big E because in a way he has been made to feel the sideman of his reign. The way the booking, the way they've booked it outside of his feud, his matchups with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, what they've done post that, they've kind of made him feel like the sideman in this situation, and that's all there is. But bringing Brock into the title picture has been good for the title because now at least the definite perception is that they will be level with the Universal title, and this presented us with this new opportunity to sort of reshuffle things and create intrigue on both Raw and SmackDown at the same level.
Next.
Yeah, I would agree with what these guys have said. It's all about making the next few months to Mania feel special, feel big time. Raw now all of a sudden feels on par with what Roman's doing on SmackDown. And it looks harsh on Big E. Paul Heyman was excellent on Raw to really put over Big E because he knows, obviously, once Brock Lesnar comes around, everything changes. All the plans change. So Paul Heyman did a really good job in saying that Big E's been a really good even though I think, he stretched it. He said that Big E's been a really good champion. He's a formidable contender. He will be champion again one day, etc., etc. Put over Lashley as well. Put over Brock, of course. And I think, yeah, it looks like they're going back to the well. There's no new stars, but I actually think Bobby Lashley is going to gain a lot. Obviously, he's now got the match he's always wanted. And my early prediction is he's going to beat Lesnar for that title.
At Rumble.
And I think he's going to beat him, and then they maybe do Lashley and Big E at WrestleMania, and Big E gets a win there. And again, so like Big E, again, may come off a bit better. Big win at Mania. And maybe the second time round, they'll have better plans for him. So it looks a bit harsh right now to Big E, but I do think whenever that second title reign comes, it'll be handled a lot better than this one has.
Well, you think Lashley's going to beat Brock?
What you say, sorry?
You think Lashley's going to beat Brock? Is that what you said?
I think Lashley may beat Brock and then enter the Royal Rumble and then win the Royal Rumble and then go back for Roman.
Okay.
Or, the way, look, Lesnar, I ain't seen him work this much for time, bro. He's going to be on SmackDown. He's going to be on Raw again next week. At this rate, he may even turn up to Elimination Chamber if he needs to go back for Roman. So there's places where Brock can, easily get back into the picture. And, worst comes to worst, he's Brock Lesnar. He'll walk into the picture if he needs to. So, yeah, I could see Lashley beating him for that title.
What do you think about the rumors? Yeah, what do you think about the people are speculating that WrestleMania might be champion versus champion, Brock versus Roman?
If it's champion versus champion, I don't mind. If it's a unification match for the titles, I've got a big problem with that because, like you said already, NK, they're not building new stars. So if Roman holds both belts in the chokehold, we're finished. Like no one, there's no new stars coming. No one's gonna beat a powerful Roman like that. So a champion versus champion kind of exhibition match, I don't mind. But like a unification match and a brand split ending, I don't think is the right way to go.
Okay, this is interesting. I do feel sorry for Big E. I'm gonna be completely honest though. I mean, I really enjoyed the fact that he became champion, and I was happy he was the champion. I just didn't really watch Raw when he was. And that's not Big E's fault because Raw has been really lackluster, regardless of who the champion was. But unfortunately, I kind of wish Big E was able to hook me in a bit more. Does that make any sense? And I wasn't getting that. But I didn't like Smokey. No, it wasn't not Smokey. Like NK, I didn't really see much to kind of comment on Big E's title reign. But I've heard some comments on WhatsApp messages that Mex and I are both in. people saying that it wasn't all that, and So I'm just gonna say DJ Ace wasn't happy.
Rah.
I just letting him on. DJ Ace wasn't happy with Biggie's title run. Okay, my bad, Ace, for making you up, but you wasn't. All right, I'm just gonna be real. You wasn't. Anyway, let's keep going. What happened on Raw? I didn't see Raw.
Oh, Raw was great. Raw was good, man. Raw was really good. This last night was good. You had Damian Priest defenders. They actually now made that whole split personality mean something, which is good. They now turned it. It finally had. I guess it had a payoff in that they made the stipulation for his match with Ziggler that if he switched and then lost his temper, they'd DQ him and he'd lose the title. So that became a whole story. That became the whole story of the match. Ziggler doing all his best to provoke him to lose his temper and cost him the match. And obviously he didn't. And the match was really good. And he didn't. And he retained. And obviously, you had the fake. They I think essentially they ran the original match intended for day one as the main event with Bobby Lashley, Rollins, Big E, and Owens. They ran that again. That was crazy because they were fighting in the concession stand and all. It was a madness. They were fighting in the concession stand. Yeah,
that was proper 98 Raw.
Yeah, Raw proper. Yeah,
figured it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wicked. All right, I might check out Raw.
It was a really good start to the year. It's always very hard to rate Raw because it's like you're rating it against a very low bar usually. But this one was good. A lot of high energy. Brock Lesnar opened the show. Brock Lesnar even copying Roman Reigns' stick with telling the South Carolina crowd to acknowledge him.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's having the time of his life, honestly.
Yeah, he really is.
Like Smokey said, we saw the US Championship was on the line, and that was actually a pretty good match with some really fun near falls between Dolph Ziggler and Damian Priest. RK Bro, non-title match. They lost to Alpha Academy, I believe.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, Otis pinned Riddle, so I don't know if that might cause some tension down the line.
Yeah. And they did a good thing with the RKO situation. Andy Orton had trouble hitting him with the RKO. He had trouble until he finally did last week. They kept that theme going with Riddle. He tried to go for it. Otis stopped him and countered him and then into his slam, that world's strongest slam. So I think it's good that they've sort of kept that theme going with Otis.
Yeah. Okay. We had a women's tag team championship match, which was like 2 minutes. So I don't even know why they're bothering with these belts, to be honest. Carmella and Zelina were defending it against Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley, I don't know if you think she got tagged into the match. They've been telling this story where Nikki ASH is the weak link of this team. Again, she was proven right. I just think Rhea Ripley just needs to turn on her and just end this nonsense.
I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Street Profits, I think they were the first people to declare they're going into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see a Montez Ford #1.
Listen to this. Angelo Dawkins turns around and he says, "Yeah, it's every man for themselves." And like, what's his face? Montez Ford looked at him like, "All right then." But yeah, they got a win on Raw against Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz, probably building them towards the Rumble. Also, Austin Theory had his little segment with Vince McMahon. Austin Theory's in the Royal Rumble, and the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic, are in the Royal Rumble. So those are like the first 5 competitors that we're going to see.
And Johnny Knoxville.
Of course, Johnny Knoxville. Not that I care at all with these celebrities appearances, but Omos and AJ Styles. This is, I guess, the payoff for these guys' feud. I mean, we could talk about this for a bit. AJ Styles has obviously tried to put him with Omos to kind of, bring him forward in his development and stuff like that. Personally, I don't think Omos is there yet. I don't think he's ready.
No, he's not.
I don't think his character's interesting. And I think the crowd nowadays, this isn't the 90s where it's like, oh my God, this guy's 7 foot tall. Like nowadays as fans, we need our wrestlers to be able to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you guys think of Omos.
Omos needs to run the main event loop. I know they can't do house show. He can't. I don't know about he's working house shows, but he needs to get on the main event loop and wrestle as many matches on there as possible, away from sort of the pressure of Raw. so he can get better. There's something there, but he needs the reps. He definitely needs reps. Seriously, needs those reps.
NK, what do you think?
NK, what do you think about Omos, man? Do you think he needs a charismatic manager?
I don't know what Omos needs. Like every time I see Omos, I'm like, the only thing about him is that he's tall. That's he's tall. But that's it. He's tall. What else? He's not. The thing is, he's 7 foot, but I'm not even intimidated by him. It's not even like, oh my god, this guy's a monster. No. He's just tall and like cool. Being 7 foot, cool. Your moveset is going to be naturally limited, but then that's where presence come in. And with presence is one of those. Presence is, I think, one of those things in wrestling that you can develop, but you can't really teach. You either have it or you don't. And I feel like Omos has had enough time on screen to show us that, and he just doesn't have it. And the thing is, it's like, okay, cool. Let's say if now Omos can successfully do a big boot, a choke slam, a body slam, cool. The presence thing is still lacking. And where's Omos' ceiling? Like, I don't like, where do you guys see Omos? I don't see him doing anything of value. At best, United States champion. At best.
There needs to be a both. No,
if he wins the US championship, the rest of them man in the mid card need to be seriously looking at themselves. And I know it's all, the championships are practically handed out, without kind of pulling the wool over people's eyes too much. But like, there's no way that his ceiling he's reached, and that's being the tag team champion, winning it at WrestleMania with AJ Styles. That is his ceiling, and right now, from what I can see, he's reached it.
Yeah, he needs to be off Raw and doing loops like mad. Because Commander Aziz is definitely ahead of him. He's ahead of him because he's done the loops. He did the NXT loops. He's ready to start doing things. Almost needs to be running the loops for real.
Even as a character, Commander Aziz is something better than Omos.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not going to win the Royal Rumble. He's not going to.
Oh no!
I wouldn't be surprised if Omos eliminates at least 10, 13 people out of the Rumble this year.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're all in on him. They're all in on him.
It's Vince.
But what?
It's Vince,
I don't
bro.
understand. But
the reason why we're talking about him right now is because of Vince.
The only reason he may not do that. The only reason he may not do that is because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the record holder for most eliminations is Roman.
It is Roman at the moment.
And they probably want to keep that with Roman. However, he may still, eliminate like 8 people or something like that.
Yeah. And then they will gang up on him and eliminate him. And then he'll start a feud. So he'll pull someone out, and that's going to be his WrestleMania moment.
It's like you've seen this before, Skillet.
Yeah, it's like they do the same thing every year. Okay. So, and any worthy notes of Raw, because I know NK is dying over here and he's dying to talk about New Japan. Is there any other noteworthy stuff to talk about?
No, that's it.
We talk about the main event.
Obviously, the only other thing, a triple threat for a shot at Becky. Doudrop came in and called Adam Pearce's grandpa. That was kind of funny, calling him grandpa. She called him grandpa. Then she got she demanded a shot at the title. So it's gonna be her versus Bianca versus Liv for a shot at Becky at the Rumble.
I like that.
And then next week, they seem to be beginning a story of Alexa Bliss's journey back to Raw. So we ain't seen Alexa Bliss on TV since the middle of the year when she lost to Charlotte. Charlotte ripped up her little Fiend doll thing. So it looks like whatever they're doing, maybe it's going to be a series of therapy sessions, and then Alexa Bliss turns up at the Rumble. Who knows?
Interesting. Okay, so some exciting things from the WWE perspective, some things to look forward to. WWE is not always perfect. They don't always get things right. They make whole loads of mistakes. But it does sound like from the start of 2022, and obviously Royal Rumble season is coming. So hopefully in this month, we'll be seeing some good stuff that will follow on to the next month and the Mania build-up. Hopefully WWE, obviously after Mania, it's going to all go to shit again. But hopefully this first 4 months is going to be nothing but good, entertaining wrestling. Let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom time. How many days have they extended it now? Because I know it's usually 2. Is it like 3, 4 now? 4?
3 days.
Oh, sorry, NK. 3 days now. So it's no longer the 2-day show. It's now becoming a 3-day show. And boy, well, you could tell that today in today's episode. But anyway, today's episode of not episode, but today's pay-per-view. It was the 50th anniversary of New Japan Pro Wrestling. We started in 1972. They had some really good montage matches of Tatsumi Fujinami, Antonio Inoki, some classic, this imagery of Japan, New Japan throughout the years. NK, let's talk about you, bro. Well, it kicks off every year with that battle royale that they do. What is it called? That battle royale that they do? It shows that I'm always on
the Rambo.
What's it? Is it called the Rambo?
Rambo, yeah. Ranbo.
Yeah, I hate battle. I'm not a fan of a lot of battle royals. And their battle royal, I've never liked it. Even during the good Wrestle Kingdoms, I've never liked it. It's always it's pre-show material. Let's just it's pre-show material. That's all it is. But yeah, we saw the battle royal we saw some cool faces. I don't know why Suzuki was in the battle royal, but
yeah, I thought that was an insult. Yeah, there we go.
They could have used him in the main card.
They really could have. Take evil and put Suzuki there. But anyways, you had Seema. Seema is somebody who's appeared on AW Dynamite a few times.
Toriano.
Yeah, Toriano is obviously the coach. Why is Chase Owens still there? Like, I'm so sorry. Why is I'm so sorry? Like, I have to. Why? Chase Owens, yeah. Like, no, you see, like, people talk about Kevin Nash's prayer and wrestling in terms of Kevin Nash, somebody who's been able to coast by, not do. Chase Owens has a prayer in wrestling. Yeah. Chase Owens is stealing a living. I'm so sorry. Like, make your money, king. Do your thing. I'm happy you're working in a pandemic. I'm happy. But my friend, you're stealing a living. Chase Owens. She's not doing that.
When it was. When I was finished, I was watching it. Yeah, I was kind of watching it. I chatted to Gal. I'm just saying that it was on in the background. I'm talking to Gal. Gal. I don't know if you guys heard what I said, but I was chatting to Gal. And when I was chatting to Gal, Tatsumi Fujinami shows up, and then midway through she's telling me something deep. She's telling me something about her mother, innit? Yeah. And then Tatsumi, I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, sorry? I was like, oh, no, sorry, keep going. Sorry about that. But man doing dragon screws at the age of like 70 something. Well, like, I was like, what's going on? But I know it's the 50th anniversary, and they have to do some of these
celebration.
Like, you'll see Bob Backlund show up in WWE Royal Rumble. It's like that, innit? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it's just they just don't know how to make it entertaining. When WWE has mastered like Royal Rumble, like Battle Royals in WWE is kind of dead, but Royal Rumble especially, like they just know what they're doing. But NJPW still ain't mastered.
Yeah, I feel with New Japan, it's like there's just certain things there, like because they're like a very sports-oriented product, and their bread and butter is listen, we're gonna put on bangers, we're gonna do this. They don't really step outside of that. And when they step outside of that and try to do more, gimmick matches, sometimes it works off, but most of the time it comes like, yeah, this is not your speciality. This is not your field. Like, like it's like a choir. Everyone has their role. You got the baritones, you got the sopranos, sometimes just stay in your lane, stay in your key. Like all of this, you're trying to do high notes and then you're not there. Like just stay where you are. And this WWE do, I criticize a lot, but they do in terms of the gimmick stuff, they do it better than anyone.
100%. 100%. And why couldn't they get Liger to do a little appearance? I would have liked to see Liger back for one night. You know what I mean? Liger.
Maybe because he just retired, didn't it? Maybe he would have felt like it's a little bit dishonest because he just retired and he's back in there again.
It's like 5-minute show up, go home, shower. Like he's still retired. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
You might get obviously there's still a night 2 at the point of where we're recording. There's still a night 2. You might get a little appearance from some other guys as well.
I want to see the Great Muta. They need where's Great Muta doesn't get.
He's on day 3, I swear. He's going to be on day 3.
Yeah, that's true. He's
on day 3.
Okay. All right. What was the first match again?
Yo versus Show, innit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yo versus Show. I felt Show looked really good. Like I think it was time this tag team broke up. I'm sorry, brother. These guys they were a good tag team.
I'm not ready for them to break up. I can't lie.
Brother,
Nah, man, I'm ready for them to freshen up the title picture in the junior division. I'm ready for them to really freshen
they
that
need to
team
go,
up.
and it's time to make new stars. They got to make new stars, bro. They need to make new stars. Like them man have been together for 30 years, bro. Like I know it's not been that long, but I was just like, these man. I've seen this man together since like 2009, bro.
For
I'm
time,
like,
yeah.
Get out of here, bro. Forget me. I got bored of the act, but it's good to see that they chose Show to be the heel because I always thought that he would have been a good heel, and I think he's proving me right. I think he's a very good heel. Just that what they're doing with him is not the greatest. What do you think, NK?
Bullet Club just like it as a whole, just get as a whole, like as a whole, like it's you know, it's I'm gonna compare it to a party. It's that one like when 2021 and it's that one DJ that keeps reminiscing about 2016. It's like, bro, stop playing like you're not updating. Like Bullet Club is relevant name alone.
You're still playing Kanye West "Beautiful Morning." You're still playing it.
No, black. So this whole shows very talented, but in terms of everyone in Bullet Club who's not named Jay White, I'm disinterested. I'm very disinterested in what you're doing. Bullet Club is a shell of what it used to be. It's a nostalgia act at this point. It's like, oh my god, we were cool back in the day. Even though half of us weren't members back in the day, but yeah, we're cool. No, but the match as a whole was fine. I mean, the thing about New Japan is that from a technical level, the matches are always going to be on bare minimum solid to above. But because the product as a whole has been, let's be honest, hasn't been great at all. Hasn't been good at all. It's like the investment in these matches is very low. So when I was watching show, I was like, yeah, like they're going through the motions, but why do I care? Like, why? Yeah. Like, I don't care. Like, great, you guys can wrestle. Great, everyone on the card can wrestle. What else? So,
and we kill the likes of WWE for putting together a pay-per-view of just matches like Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Like, is this a pay-per-view standard match? Is this culminating some type of feud? What is the immediate need to put this on pay-per-view and sell this to us? Because remember, pay-per-view is I'm paying to watch this. This ain't TV. Like, I'm paying to watch this, whatever, how this is going to end. And yeah, I feel like even on this card, once you get through it, there's just too many matches that are filler. Does Wrestle Kingdom need to be 2 nights? Like, really and truly, especially after
with no mid-card title. If you're gonna do 2 nights, have a mid-card title. But we're gonna get to that because
well, I mean, you just had a little bit of a rant about Bullet Club, but the next match was Tanahashi and the Mega Coaches versus Bullet Club, Kenta Ishimori and El Phantasmo. This match was okay. It was pointless.
It's pointless in the grand scheme of things that Tanahashi and Kenta are gonna wrestle tomorrow. Like, I remember when it came out, I was thinking, I asked in the group, like, what is this? What's going on here? And I think the biggest story beat here, if you like, was Tanahashi kind of going into that dark side using the kendo stick on Kenta, which their match tomorrow night for the US Championship is a no DQ match. Tanahashi isn't someone that we're used to seeing using weapons, so this is something he's going to have to do if he wants to win ultimately. But again, a 6-man tag for what real reason?
On a Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, they were doing build up for a pay-per-view on a pay-per-view.
That's exactly
That's it.
That's exactly it, Smokey. Smokey's absolutely spot on. That's exactly what they're doing. And it's like, they didn't necessarily have to do 3 nights. They didn't, because now you're compromising the quality of the product. Wrestle Kingdom needs to be that one show, no matter how bad NJPW might be showing, recently. NJPW's taking a dip since the pandemic. So no matter how bad the shows might be going forward, Kingdom needs to be one that's undisputed, still the greatest wrestling show on earth. And I think they've kind of compromised that. Don't get me wrong, I have a feeling they're going to pull it out the bag tomorrow and on Thursday, but still, this is not a good start, man.
And also as well, how many times have we seen Kenta Tanahashi throughout the year.
Exactly.
This is another problem. This is another problem. I'm gonna touch on this when it comes to the main event, because even though the last 2 matches, especially rematched, WWE got a lot of flack for rematches, yeah, and rightly so. New Japan needs that same energy.
Yeah,
the amount of rematches we see in regards to like contenders, and yeah, people say, "Oh, but the match is bang," but I don't care. I don't care how much I could love jollof rice, oxtail. I could love all of that. If I eat that for 365 days a year, I'm tired. Be bored. I'm tired. I'm tired. Too much of something is bad, whether it's a good thing or not. It's bad. Tanahashi versus Kenta, we know it's going to be a banging match. Kenta's been in the company 3 years, and I'm already tired of him. I'm already tired.
So here's the thing. So like, that's what I love about you guys, and majority of the guys on our shared WhatsApp and shared Twitter group, because you guys will call it as it is, and you guys are not biased. So if there's bullshit on AEW, if there's bullshit in Japan, and there's bullshit WWE, you will call it as it is. But there's some people, I'm not going to mention everybody. I don't know. I'm not going to mention anyone. But there's some people, I'm not going to say anyone else. But there's some people that will just blindly, they just have this innate hate for WWE, because obviously that was their first love, innit? And I think WWE has broken all of our hearts in some sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a bit X.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's a great description. That's exactly what it is. It's the bitter X syndrome, and we can't forgive. And it's like, we still go back for sex, but
I can't love you. I can't trust you.
But we can't trust her. We can't trust her. Like if WWE wants to go nightclub, we're asking questions, isn't it? We're asking treacherous. You know what I mean?
Treacherous.
Treacherous in the dunya.
Treacherous.
That's a classic. Yeah, that's what I love about you guys. You guys are calling it as it is, and it's
even with New Japan, you know, what's special and what's always kind of been special for me about it once I got into it was the 4th of January. No matter what day the 4th falls on, we're having this pay-per-view. And now with even the 2 days, it's not really all about the 4th of Jan anymore, is it? Like I'm not even looking too much at the 3rd day, because that's like a special super show with Noah. But the 2 days, especially when it's not like, I think when they first done the 2 days, it was, you know, a bag of matches on the first day, some which played out again on the second day, but were definitive.
Yes.
There wasn't any of this 6-man tag nonsense where the main match is happening. Like Smokey said, the build up for the pay-per-view is on the pay-per-view, and then we're still waiting for the next day to play out. Like, they've missed the mark with this 2 days thing.
And also, the first time was Wrestle Kingdom 14, but the first one did 2 days, it made sense. You had 4 guys chasing for the title. And it was kind of the double gold dash. You had, you know, literally the Intercontinental title, and then the winner of the Intercontinental match will face the winner of the heavyweight title. It made sense. You had 4 man chasing for title. It made sense separated across 2 days. But like even last year, last year was kind of, they got away with it, because I have my problems with last year, but they got away with it because of the whole crowning of Ibushi and so on and so forth. But like this year was like the year where you just, even when you looked at the card, you like, yeah, this is filler. This is a lot of filler. We're seeing 6-man. Like, why am I seeing 6-man tag matches on your biggest show? Like, I'm seeing at least that, and then you're doing and then I'm seeing repeats of the same match. Like, for example, like we said with this one, cool, Kenta and Tanahashi in this match, and they're facing each other tomorrow. Why? And then on the next match, you've got Great O'Khan and all of the Empire, man, and they're doing rematches the next day. It's like, so I'm seeing the same matches twice. Why?
Yeah. Let's talk about the next match.
Pointless.
Great Empire, United Empire, Will Ospreay, Great O'Khan, and Jeff Cobb against Naito, Sandana, and Bushi. Again, like you just said, NK. Very good. It would have been a very good match. Well, a decent match. Not a very good match, because they didn't pull out all the stops, but it would have been a decent match to watch if it wasn't that what we're going to see tomorrow. But yeah, another six tag match. I think they're not really. And the match. Shibata had the next match though. What did you guys think of the Shibata match?
Oh, that was really good. That was really good.
I I'm happy. I'm just happy he's back. I'm just so happy he's back. Like, if you want to be super critical, yeah, you can tell, he's not as fast as he used to be. But the guy,
he's still smart. He knows how to wrestle. Yeah, I feel like he's adjusted. He knows how to. He's smart. He's smart about it now. He's smart.
The only thing I'll say is that they said that this was going to be under the catch wrestling rules, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
It wasn't.
He did a promo and said, I want a proper match. Like before the match, he did a promo and said, I just want to wrestle. And then
fair enough. But no, on a sentimental level, I was so happy to see him wrestle. And I was so happy to see him back. And it's going to be interesting to see how they use him, going forward.
It was good to see. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. When they announced that he was returning, I was like, bro, what are you doing? Because I just remember how bad the injury was. But it was actually good to see him still be able to go like he wants to. Yeah, the speed thing, you guys are right about that. But at least he's still getting to wrestle how he wants, which is I guess Daniel Bryan has made me appreciate that. Instead of me being cuddling him and being that overprotected father figure, like strippiness. Like let the man, if the man wants to get back in the ring, I'm sure he'd be.
But he was working a lot safer than usual, which
he has to. He has to.
Like he did not take any, barely any shots to the face. It was kicks to the chest. It was grappling, and there was a spot. Yeah, he teased it where he picked up his head, and I was like, "Don't you dare headbutt him! Like, don't you dare headbutt him!" But he didn't. I never.
You know that's gonna come, right?
No, please, no, please.
That's gonna come.
I don't want to see that.
He's gonna play safe for a while. But I think that what they should do going forward is book him strong. They need to book him strong where he's like kicking ass and then becoming like a number one contender for the title again. But I think like they're gonna be a moment where they get carried away and then they'll be like, yeah, let's do what we used to do. And he's gonna do.
He's still got the job training people, so I hope they don't forget that.
No, they're gonna get carried away and be like, you know what, you've done so well. We're gonna put you in a 40-minute match. And it's like, no, don't. Shabar should have wrestled over 30 minutes. Like, no.
30 might even be too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't put him in these barn burners. Like, he's done enough. Man, please take it easy. Like, New Japan's one company. You don't need to prove anything. Your CV is enough. I'm saying that calm down.
It's true.
Just wrestle. I'm happy.
What did you think of Evil versus Ishii for the
travesty? It's a travesty. No, it's a travesty. I don't understand Evil. I really don't. You have Sanada.
I'm gonna lie to you. I was never an Evil fan.
How did you choose Evil over Sanada? That is my biggest conundrum. Like, Sanada is still there doing like basically nothing.
And he's a bad boy as well, Max. You know
he's
what I'm saying?
I know.
Bad boy. I don't understand. I never got into Evil, Never got. I love Sanada. I never got into Evil still.
No, Evil is champion.
And they could have got heat for that New Japan Cup win that they gave to Evil. That would have been great heat for Sanada. Him turning on Naito, being the popular one. He would have got instant heat for it. I don't understand that. Honestly, I don't.
And the thing is that like they have been consistently pushing this guy. Like he has not like vacated from that mid. Cool, he's not fighting for the title, but he's always in the upper mid card picture. And I'm like, why? Like, why is he here? He doesn't do anything. I mean, like, there's difference between like he as in I want to see you lose and go away heat. There's some people, not all heat is created equally. Sometimes I'm like, no, I will turn off my TV. It's not heat that I want to see lose. There's the opposite of heat where no, I'm turning off my TV now because I don't want to see. That's what Evil does, and it's like this never open weight title is not a replacement for the IC title. Never. Bring back the IC title. The reason why a lot of the reason why New Japan is suffering because they don't have a mid card. They don't have a mid card, and the mid card is suffering because the IC title is probably one of the best booked mid card titles of recent memory, and they took that away. And they conditioned us to always see the never opening title as kind of like a special title, a strong style title. Like it was never a mid card title. It was always like a title, just like a hardcore title, just somebody for the specialists in that field and the strong style field to have. They can say that, but it's not a mid card title. And now you've taken that title away, and then cool, the natural replacement would have been the US title, but then you just put the US title on New Japan Strong, which is a show nobody cares about. So it's like you've essentially erased your mid card, and that's how we have matches like this that nobody cares about. With Evil, how can you have a bad match with ECE? How? With ECE? Oh my God.
Chaos versus Dangerous Techers for the IWGP.
That was a good match. That was a good match. That was a good match.
That's arguably one of the best matches of the card, to be honest.
Zack Sabre Jr. needs more respect in that company, though.
He needs to get US champion something, man.
He would have somebody that would have benefited from an IC title run. He was somebody that would have definitely used that to the best. Even if they don't want to make him world title, he could have done a lot with that title.
I agree.
He could have done a lot.
I don't know why they scrapped the IC belt. Why did they do that?
I will never understand.
I don't know. During Kota Ibushi's first reign, now of all people to scrap the title, him. We've been waiting over a decade for this guy to be champion. And then he finally gets his moment, and then now you want to do unification nonsense. No, you should have done that on Evil's reign. If you want to get Evil heat, do that with Evil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have got. That actually might have worked. That actually might have worked. We would have hated him for it. That would have got him heat. Yeah. Instead, you gave it to your babyface champion, and look what happened.
El Desperado retains the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Takahashi. This was okay as well. This wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was a good, pretty decent match.
I like Takahashi. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. But,
Hiromu's good. Go on.
Another example of reduce, reuse, and recycle. They've recycled this match. They've done this match so many times. They've recycled it. I'm tired. No, I'm tired. That junior heavyweight division
is suffering.
It's the Takahashi show. I love Hiromu Takahashi.
It's his division.
It's suffering. It's really suffering. You're right. And then they really need new blood. We need Yo and Show up in there. We need for travel restrictions to lower, and we need to get all the Bandidos, all the Chris Bays, all of them, man, over there, right there, because they need all of them. They need all of them.
I agree.
True.
Totally agree with
what they can get.
Totally agree with you. And the main event, let's talk about it. Okada versus Shingo for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Did you guys? Okay, let's ask. I'm gonna ask NK. NK, did you see this victory happening?
No. In the beginning, if you had asked me a month ago, yes, but just the way Okada's been talking about how, because I thought he was trying to bring back the old belt and the old lineage and stuff like that. But then when I looked at the story, for me, night 2 just made sense between Shingo and Ospreay. That's what the real dispute about the title was. Who's the real IWGP champion? And also, those two have had a rivalry since they're juniors, so it makes sense. And I feel like they'll finally, gonna give. They're not new guys, but newer guys to the main event scene, a chance to have their own night. I understand the Okada thing. Okada's, like I say, he's in my Mount Rushmore. I'm not upset at him being champion, and I understand it because he's the safe option. New Japan is going through struggles, and he's kind of like the person where we'll never criticize Okada's credibility as a champion. He's that he's like, regardless, so he's like their Roman or Brock. He's like the sure bet. Him as champion brings legitimacy to that belt. Cool. But it's like, okay, you've built up Shingo for a year and now he loses at Wrestle Kingdom for what? For what really? And then cool, he beats Ospreay. He beat Ospreay last year. Again, it's the same. Again, it's kind of probably that WWE have. It's nothing new. But I guess in this situation, they're looking at it. Listen, because they're aware that fans are not receptive to the product, and they're certainly not receptive of this title. So maybe it's just their last-ditch attempt to be like, listen, we're going to bring relevancy to this title. But it's like, this is very much a self-inflicted issue because, okay, cool, you unify the title, great, then you get rid of the lineage of the old title. Forget how the belt looks. A belt is a belt. But you get rid of the lineage of the old title, and now you want to bring Okada to salvage the rest that you guys created. It just doesn't make sense. And the match itself, good match. They've had better matches. And
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
they've had better matches. Like, and it was just another thing of just like, okay, like, is New Japan just going to be the product where you get good matches? Like, that's not what, like, to the casual, the people who don't watch New Japan, that's maybe what they see as just a company just with great matches, but it was more than that. Like, there's a reason why New Japan gained so much praise during the time it was, because, like, their main events were stacked. I mean, in 2016, 2017 to 20, you had Omega, Okada, Naito, Shibata. All of these guys were fired for the title. Then you had Jay White in the mix. Like, New Japan, like, shining achievement was the diversity in the main event scene, in terms of you always had different contenders and everyone could beat everyone. You know what I'm saying? Even though Okada was doing 600, was doing 720-day title reign, at any point, if he faces Naito, he could lose. Face Omega, he could lose.
Yeah.
So so like, I just feel like it's a massive fall from grace, to be honest. And night 2, like, okay, if Ospreay beats Okada, it's a bit interesting. But to be honest, I don't think anyone wants to see that.
You don't want to see that?
Nah. I
but they've done it already, so
okay. Yeah. I don't know. I just thought because what happened with the injury with Ospreay, I just assumed this is his. I personally think this might be his comeback season, and he's back to crown again. And I think tomorrow they're gonna absolutely blitz the house. I think I know we have seen. I know we've seen Ospreay and Okada already, but I think they're gonna put on a clinic tomorrow. And I think I don't know. I could be totally wrong to say this, but I feel like tomorrow's match is gonna be much better than the one they've had previously. And they're going to do things that we've probably never seen before. And I think Ospreay may walk out the champion. But maybe I gave my prediction a bit too early. Let's do predictions. Bex, obviously, I think it starts off with a tag match tomorrow. I think it's a three-way tag team match. Rob Eagles and Tiger Mask versus the Bullet Club. Ishimori and El Fantasmo and the Mega Coaches. I mean, do you have any predictions on that, man?
I'll go with the Mega Coaches. They just picked it up today, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
So, yeah. Again, I don't know why we're having 2 back-to-back tag matches, but
and it's for the title. It's for the title.
People we saw on the first night, by the way. We saw all of these guys on the first night. It's not even like there's new people that, hey, this is how passionate I'm getting. It's not even like there's new people that we haven't seen. Like, you know what I'm saying, at least last year's WrestleMania, like night 1 and night 2, you had completely different people. Wrestlers. Yeah. But this time we're just seeing, okay, copy and paste, randomizer. Okay, that's night 2.
Yeah, I'd say the Mega Coaches keep it.
Do you agree, Smokey?
Yeah, I was leaning towards maybe either Bullet Club or maybe Robbie Eagles and his partner, because they may want to keep Robbie Eagles strong. Him just coming off his title run he had with the junior title. Maybe that was my thinking.
Okay.
Mega Coaches.
Iwatani and Starlight Kid. Oh yeah, I didn't even give my prediction. Yeah, I think Mega Coaches as well. Iwatani and Starlight Kid versus this
is the Stardom match, right?
Yeah, who's this man? Who's this?
Iwatani is the women's champion, if I'm correct.
Okay.
She's hard. She is hard. Right?
She just beat Utami Ashishita recently.
Okay. So this is
look out for this match.
I'm definitely looking forward to this.
I'll look out for this match. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know any of these people, but yes, I'm gonna.
She's wrestled in ROH before, but she's really good. I think she was on the MSG card. I forget. She might have been.
Okay. So they're from Stardom, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's okay. All right. Chase Owens versus Sema versus Suzuki and Yano for a 4-way match, provisional KOPW 2002 trophy. Who you guys got?
Who cares? Maybe Suzuki.
Yano again. Just have a break.
Yano won it last year, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Chase Owens.
No. Let's go with Yano. Everyone say Yano and 3. 1, 2, 3.
Chase Owens.
All right, House of Torture. Here you go. Evil again. Takahashi and Sho versus Chaos. Goto, Yoshihashi and Yo. What do you guys think?
Another 6-man.
Evil and them, man.
It's for the titles, though, yeah. But yeah, I hear what
It's
you're
gonna be
saying.
evil with them, man, isn't it?
Evil and them, man, yeah.
Evil.
Sandana versus Great O'Khan.
Sanada, please. I don't understand.
I'm hoping for Sanada, but I don't know. I think maybe they may slot Great O'Khan into a title match, and then maybe who knows? I'm normally with Sanada just because I like him.
Yeah,
Max, is Sanada in there?
Great O'Khan.
Sanada, yeah.
Do you guys like Great O'Khan?
Yeah, he's good. I think he's a good wrestler. I mean, the character's not a little bit. The whole Genghis Khan thing he got there, I don't know if it's my favorite, but his in-ring stuff, yeah, I do like his style.
He can move. He's not my favorite. He can move. He's no Sanada, isn't he? So I'm gonna go with Sanada.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Great O'Khan. Naito versus Jeff Cobb.
Good match.
Yeah, that
should be good. Match. They've had some really good matches these last couple of years. That's gonna be good.
I think Jeff Cobb might win.
Yeah, he's been on a run the last couple. He's been on a run, coming off a strong G1. He's a good chance he wins.
Yeah, I think Jeff Cobb. I think there's a lot of momentum. They're gonna push Jeff, aren't they, this year? I think they're gonna try and push him hard. So yeah, I'm gonna say Jeff as well. Kenta versus Tanahashi for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship.
I want Kenta to win,
but you think Tanahashi?
I think maybe Tana wins it. But
if Tanahashi wins it, how many US titles he's got then?
It's three.
Three.
I think
he's the first ever Grand Slam champion. He's won everything.
Yeah,
everything.
He's won bag of them. But okay, if it's his third one, that's not so bad. It's not so bad.
I mean, it's one of those things where a Kenta winning would be good, but you give the title to Tanahashi, and you might be able to get someone who can take that title and turn it into a mid-card title. He might be the one person that you could probably guarantee to probably give that prestige that's missing in the mid-card.
Do you guys think there'll be any surprise entrances? Anyone joining? Like, do you think someone from Noah will join Bullet Club?
I would have expected if Kenta was to retain, maybe one of these people he's been calling out from AEW could have shown up. I mean, Punk showing up would have been mad, but it ain't happening.
No, he's in the program, so that's probably.
Okay, let's talk about the main event. I've already given my prediction for this match: Okada versus Will Ospreay, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Who do you guys got? We'll also get NK's opinion when he joins back.
There's a part of me, and I was saying this yesterday, there's a part of me that thinks that Okada won't win, so that'll keep him free to travel around, possibly come to America and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think Will has had a fair crack at it, and I think they're invested in Will, so I'm gonna say Will wins it.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence a little bit because they've already told the story in full of Will being in chaos under Okada's wing and him coming out from under shadow of Okada, and when he beat him at Wrestle Kingdom, I think it was the last one or the one before. They've told that story in full, and even though Will hasn't had his run at title, they need to do damage control with the whole company as a whole. So there's a good chance they give it to Okada just to steady the ship. Yeah. And they've already told us. They've told that Ospreay Okada story in full.
Okay. I was hoping NK would be back by now.
Who did you say? Ospreay.
Ospreay. Yeah, I think
I'm gonna go Okada.
But then again, the thing is, the reason why I'm thinking I might be wrong and it's going to be Okada is because of day 3, and because we got that cross promotional event on day 3, they probably want Okada to be their champion. So I've changed my mind. NK, you heard this here. I said Ospreay originally, but I've changed it back to Okada because they're gonna need because Okada's wrestling on day 3, right?
Yes, it should be a tag team match. Yeah, it should be one of those tag matches.
It's gonna be a tag match, but against Muta and Muta's partner and whatever. Yeah, so
that's the match. I want to see those two guys in the ring. I'm waiting for that particular face-off.
So they're probably gonna want Okada to have the belt walking into that.
Yeah, I feel like that Okada wins because correct me if I'm wrong. Is Ospreay on that card? I don't think he's on that card, right? I feel like it's very intentional that they placed Okada in a tag match. Yeah. to protect him, because that whole New Japan versus Noah card screams, we don't want our champs to lose. That's how we get multi-man matches. So, yeah, I think Okada, and I feel like with the Ospreay thing, I think had Shingo won, he would have had a bigger case to win, because I feel like the Ospreay Shingo storyline is the battle between who's the real champion. With Okada's kind of like the odd one out in this storyline. He's just there because he's Okada. It's kind of like Brian at last year's WrestleMania. He's just there. I mean, he's there, but difference is Okada's the biggest star, so it's kind of like he's just there. But at the end of the day, he can always Okada's always in the conversation, so it's like, yeah.
And then the difference is, it's like you have to debate about who's the real champion, but the real champion is actually Okada. No matter what went wrong for Ospreay or Shingo winning it afterwards, Okada is the guy. So. Yeah. Okay, I won't talk about day 3 because that gets all complicated, and I haven't watched Noah and All Japan Pure Pro Wrestling since the early 2000s. So I don't know anybody anymore. So so I'm going to thank you both for coming on the show, Smokey and NK.
Appreciate it, boys.
Normally, what we do is, I know it's only day 1, and we might have you guys back on to review the rest of the Wrestle Kingdom. We'll see how the cookie crumbles later on this week. But day 1 of Wrestle Kingdom, what would you rank out of 5?
Can I be points? I'm always a glass half full guy, so I'm gonna give it 2.
Yeah, so 2.
I'll give it 2.
I was gonna say 2.5, but 2.
2.5 is generous. I'd say 2.
I felt like one of those. Yeah, it didn't feel good. I'm gonna say 2.5 because of the matches. It's very generous. Okay, well, thank you guys. Smokey, before you sign up, can you please give people your social media, where people can contact you? Anyone that's
you can find me at social media on Twitter at Supine Smokey. And I do have a YouTube channel, but that's mostly if you like looking at wrestlers
moveset king.
Yes. If you like looking at compilations of wrestlers movesets, you can find my channel. It's the Supine Smokey. Type it. You should be able to. It's there.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant. And NK, where can they find you?
Obviously, want to see me talk about wrestling, find me on Wrestlings. Again, it's always TDM Tokyo Dome Merchants. I just had to kill the company I love, but it came from a place of love. And if you want to hear me talk about more general topics, follow me on Rare Podcast. Follow my Twitter, NK Breach.
Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. I guess we've all 4 of us got more wrestling to watch this week, so we'll see what happens on day 2 and 3 of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and hopefully we'll catch up by the end of the week. Mex, love you, my bro, and I guess we're out. That's the KickOut. Follow us at KickOut Podcast.